Okay, here I have the HMV 100 back together again. The reproducer is freshly rebuilt and needs to be tested. So I've selected Clovita by the International Novelty Orchestra, mostly because it's roughly contemporary to the machine, which is 1925. These were only made for a little shy of a year, I believe, by HMV, Gramophone Company, Hayes, Middlesex, England. The first of their black box portables. Obviously, there are similarities to the Victor Victrola 35 that came out in 1923, as we can see mostly by that aluminum reflective horn back there. That is a feature of the Victor Victrola 35. The basic layout is the same as the 35, and the box size is very close to that of the 35 as well. However, the major difference would be in the tone arm support. This has a telescoping tone arm. You see it folds down, just like that, and this goes down into a clip. And to deploy it, it goes the other way. Or the machine doing it, like that, and you're all set. Now, let's play it and see how we do. Oh, good to turn the machine on first, wouldn't it? Okay. And there we go. Successful reproducer test on the HMV and the motor test too. The motor is doing well. These don't have the largest of springs in them, but they have springs that are adequate for the job. And obviously you're going to have to wind it between a couple of plays, but it is a portable, not a big floor machine. And you can see we still need to acquire a handle. And the crank escutcheon here is missing. I think I can source one from a Victor machine, but I have to find one old enough to have the right screw spacing. Overall, the machine is in very nice condition. A very nice survivor, as they say. Take care of the needle before I stab myself with it. Always a good thing to do that. Let's see if I can fold this down without banging it around. One-handed, not always the best way to do it. So why don't we just put that down? Oh, I know what I wanted to do. While this is here, I'll look at two different exhibition reproducers. Get that off of there. His Master's Voice from Hayes, Middlesex, and Victor from Camden, New Jersey. As you can see, the only difference is going to be the lettering under the mica. Both say exhibition. One says made in England, one says made in, well, USA. One says his Master's Voice, the other the Victor Talking Machine Company. They're both the same on the back. They use the same gaskets, the same needle bars, all the same. This is my test reproducer, but you can see same thing. Not a lot of difference there. Used under a license, I suppose, but then there was a lot of patent sharing going on. And the HMV 100's motor turns up in at least one Victor portable, one of the cheaper ones. I can't remember which one exactly. But it is a kind of a unique round-looking motor, so it is kind of hard to miss if you happen to see it again. Let me stick that back where it belongs. Show you how that stows. Right down in there. And these had the needle boxes that show up rather in the later Victor Victrola 50s. You will see this same little needle box on there, and this is carried over to the early 101s. So why don't we take the record off of there and put it in the record stowage tray. That's always a nice feature to have. And let's put the lid down, and I will show you the rest of the... A few little marks here and there, but it's surprisingly very good condition given its age. It's 95 years old, and look at it. Cleaned up very nicely. It's got a few little stains here and there, but that's unavoidable, I suppose. But this was a portable machine. It would have been brought out into the field and to, various places, carried around. So you would almost expect it to be pretty well tore up. I don't know if you can see that. Whoa, I don't want it to slide on me, but it's not even tore up underneath. Given that this is a fabric cover and it's not, well, there's wood under there, obviously, but it's not on the outside. This was the first of its generation. The HMV portables before this are big, kind of blocky wooden affairs. While they were, in theory, portable, they were kind of a chore to carry around. This was much easier, much lighter, and it had an excellent sound. And from this would grow the 101, which used the same case you see here. The earliest 101s do have a front crank, just like this does, until it moves to the side, over here, later on. And of course the 102 would carry along this particular, not exactly the same case, but similar style, very similar style. And that one went all the way up to 1958. They were still making them. But that's the HMV 100. These machines are actually very rare. They didn't make many to start with, and not a whole lot of them ended up over here in this country. They were never imported here, which is unfortunate. They probably would have sold very well, but there was agreements in place between Victor and HMV not to allow that to happen. So why Victor chose not to continue this line of thinking with portables, I don't know. They made the Victor Victrola 35, and then that's it. You don't see another portable like it. You see other portables, yes, big, heavy affairs like the 255 or the 260, or cheap ones like some of the smaller box portables, which are a bit blockier than this, and just made, I'm sorry, Victor, but they were made like crap. They really were. They had nice motors, yes, reproducers, that was all good, but the boxes themselves were out of the cheapest possible woods. and they fall apart. I mean, when I get them, sometimes they're in pieces. I don't even like to buy them online because when they get here, they're all smashed up. I mean, it's a shame, but yeah, they were going for cheap, trying to get something that the masses wanted, and they had to compete with hundreds of little tiny companies out there that were smacking together some kind of phonograph and calling it, you know, the marvel of the age. So to retain their market share, they started making, excuse me, some cheaper machines. But they really should have made this. This is what Victor should have made. The 101 and the 102 are machines Victor should have made, and they didn't, unfortunately. And the company did pay the price for that. They were absorbed by RCA in 1929, and the Camden factory produced its very last phonograph with the 265 in 1932, and by then, unfortunately, it was an assembled machine. Parts that were outsourced and just put together. What a sad ending for a company that had basically ruled the phonograph industry for almost 30 years. But there you go. There's a look at the HMV 100. If you ever see one of these machines for sale in any condition, grab it, because there's just not many of them around, and I've been lucky enough to acquire 5 of them. This is number 5. I treasure them all.